So, my notes for today are all over the place. I don't have a set theme. So, I think I'm just going to call this video random. And on that note, actually, it's kind of funny. I met a guy named Random today. Random, Random. And what's kind of annoying for him, at least, is every time he gives out his name, he has to show his student ID and show that it says random because people always ask, "What did you say? What is your name?" So he always has to physically show how his name is written. That was funny. He's pretty cool. I like him a lot. He's in one of my classes, so probably gonna study at some point with him. But yeah, he seems really chill. Would definitely want to hear more of his experience because a name like Random, names can influence a lot of your life, and I think he's proof of that because when he gave his name, I asked him his name, and then he said Random. He kind of like, okay, he heard me say, "What did you say?" And then he like rolled his eyes. He was kind of exhausted at that point because everyone's going to be asking him that same exact question. So he already had his ID out. It was pretty funny. I found it funny at least. Oh well. So that's random. I also wanted to mention Nikado Avocado. That that guy blows my mind. Turns out there was this, in case you haven't seen it, which is doubtful because he's probably like number one on trending. This guy was obese, completely overweight for the longest time. And then I think 2 days, 3 days ago, he releases a video that says he's actually underweight. Not only does it say, it's a face reveal, and you can see that he's no longer overweight. So he gained, I think he originally was at like, I don't even know, like 300 pounds or something. Gotta be like around that number. And that's no exaggeration. He was seriously overweight. And then he lost all that weight. And, well, he said he lost, I think it was two, I think it was 200 pounds. I think he lost 200 pounds. Insane. Actually insane. Very impressive though. And good for him. So it turns out he was milling out YouTube videos while he was losing weight. So he had 2 years worth of YouTube videos in the vault, in the bank. And then so he starts uploading, or he continues to upload videos, and he's losing weight at the same time. So he's just picking from his stash and always replenishing whenever he needs to upload. And then bam, now now we see his current present day self as the thinner version of himself. I was thinking what was more likely is that he recorded this video in the past when he had that all that weight lost, and then he is still currently completely overweight, but it just seems like he is underweight because he posted this video most recently. Kind of the reverse of what he claims to have actually done. But I mean, I don't fully believe in that. I think that's like I don't know, 10% chance of actually being true. But it seems like he genuinely has lost the weight, and he's just, man, he's back. Impressive though. I I would not do that. Gain I would not gain 200 pounds just for views. That's rough. Right. Okay. Now, I also wanted to talk about a couple of other things, but this is more on the serious side. Guess that was more of an introductory warm up. Who should I date? So I'm pretty sure I've already given this introduction. I'm Catholic, and ideally, so in the case of who I should date, I would ideally want to be dating a Catholic, someone who's in line with my values. And dating a Catholic would be perfect because I don't think I really have to explain that. Exact same, basically the exact same values. And I'm sure there's going to be political differences, but for the most part, you're going to, on the controversial things, you're going to be on the same side, which is definitely incredibly important when raising a family or just being in a relationship with someone when you're that when you have to be that close with someone. So ideally Catholic. Okay. But now recently I've been dismissing that. I've been more open to dating. Not recently. I think I've always been open to dating non-Catholics. But now I'm starting to question it. So the reason I've always been open to dating non-Catholics is because they're, at least where I am, like in Canada, Catholicism isn't, I feel like it's not too common. And I'm sure you can pull up a stat that says something like 30% of people, if not more, are Catholic, but that's not actually practicing Catholic. It's probably less than half of those that are actually practicing Catholics. And then when you look at adolescents that are Catholic, practicing Catholics, it's like non existent. Well, okay, no, sorry. It is there. It's very few, but on top of it being very few, all the youth groups that I've been to for Catholics, there are more guys than girls. It's like a CS class, like the same ratio, I'm saying, which boggles my mind. Like, why? How is that a thing? You'd think girls would be at these youth groups rather than guys, but I think what's happening is that guys want to meet girls and girls don't care. So it ends up just being a bunch of guys and yeah, you can make friends. It's no, like the friends there are really cool. I still have some friends from the Waterloo church youth group, and they're really close, or I feel they're closer than most friends just because I want to have a stronger faith and they do too, and we share that bond and we agree on all the controversial things, or for the most part. I don't think there's really anything we would disagree that's controversial. Yeah, we'd agree just because we're so dedicated to our faith. And like from this, okay, the amount of dedication, I should say, the amount of devotion to this faith, the youth in the youth group, two of my friends are going to be priests or going to the what's it called, the seminary to discern priesthood. One of them, I'm pretty sure, is discerning priesthood. He's trying to see if he wants to be a priest, but the other one is way more committed and saying he wants to be a priest. He already knows he wants to be a priest. And I think it's very likely that both of them become a priest, and I think that'd be insane. Like having two of my friends become priests, I think that's so beautiful. Dedicate your life to God. And when they did that, when they were talking about that, I was thinking like there's no way I'd do this. But then I thought more about it. I was thinking there actually is a possibility where I do this. I can see there would be things that would happen for me to facilitate being a priest. But at this point in life, I do not want to, and I don't see how I could convince myself to do that. How now, okay, I guess God could convince me pretty easily just with life circumstances. Uh, he could make me hit rock bottom, and from that, I don't want to say force, but highly suggest that priesthood is the ideal path for me. And you know what? If that's the case, if that's what God's plan is, then then I'm open to it. Then good. That's the ultimate good. But as I see it now, I just like no girlfriend. So no girlfriend. Okay, cool. It'd definitely be tough for me. I would say, but um, like that, I think it'll be in the back of my mind. But I don't think I've seriously considered it ever. If it's supposed to be though, I'll accept it. Yeah, I think I'll know if it's supposed to be, but I'm operating as if it's not supposed to be. I think that's a good way to put it. Where I'm just gonna assume that's not the case. Where I'm not called to be a priest, and and you know what? If I'm forced into it, then I'll accept it. Okay, right. Okay, but going back on topic for in terms of dating. So yeah, since Catholicism is so central to how I operate, how I live, I'm I think what I've decided to do, or what I'm trying to do at least, is I'm trying to leave it in God's hands. But it's really tough because I don't know what that means. Does that mean to completely abandon approaching girls? Or does it mean to continue operating normally, and if God pushes me strongly in a direction, then I just follow that? Like if God places my future girlfriend in front of me, then of course I pursue. But it's so hard to know if if like I'm supposed to continue going, if I'm supposed to continue approaching girls, because part of it too is like, honestly, I find it enjoyable approaching girls. I find it enjoyable because like it's something for the longest time that I've struggled with, and a lot of guys struggle with. And the fact that I'm able to do it consistently, I'm able to overcome my fear regularly. I I don't know. It's just I don't think you can really get that anywhere else. I mean, you could go skydiving every day, but I don't have the money for that. So I'm gonna be approaching girls every day. No, just kidding. But it I don't know how to phrase it really. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Like I'll just continue though. Okay, so the other thing too is I think no matter what, God will guide me, but I feel like personally it's just very difficult for me to stop looking for a girlfriend. And that is probably maybe unhealthy, but I think it's natural. So maybe it's not unhealthy, but maybe it's unhealthy to the extent that I feel like I need a girlfriend. Would I need a girlfriend to complete my life? That's tough to say. Like, I've heard what people say is okay, what I guess I'm saying is how desperate am I to have a girlfriend? And I think I've talked with my friend about this before actually, on a scale of 0 to 10. I would say like 6. But see, maybe that's because I have nobody in mind. It's, like if I did have a crush, then I'd say I don't know, like 9 or 8. But since I don't have any crush, anybody to aspire for, I guess you could say, it just feels like passing grade, like 6. Like yeah, it'd be nice, but I don't know. But at the same time, maybe I'm not being truthful to myself because I am going out of my way to approach girls. I mean, then again, like it's not that often. It was often before, I guess. No, nah, yeah, yeah. I'd say it was more often before, but now it's like I'm just trying to make friends and I'm being open to having female friends, which is what I was not I wasn't as open before. But the thing is, I still hold this view that female friends, you can't, a close female friend should just be a girlfriend. Like, you can't have a female friend. It's tough to have a female friend that's to the same level as a good male friend. I don't think you can. It's at least I haven't. I would always rather hang out with my male friend than with my female counterpart friend. Okay, part of it too maybe is that it's awkward. It's not too natural. It's not too natural hang. I was gonna say it's not too natural hanging out one on one with a girl in a non-date setting, in just a friend setting, because usually you hang out in a group with guys and girls. You know, I don't have all the solutions. I don't have all the answers. Still have to think about this more. Man, it's so complicated. Like the way social systems are. Okay. Right. Okay, yeah. So I was saying like just getting friends that happen to be female. Just making friends in general. That's what I'm aiming to do. And if it happens that I fall for one of my female friends, then cool. But as I was saying earlier, I have to be very careful because ideally it should be a Catholic girlfriend. And it's kind of, I don't know if it's right saying, giving up on the fact that, giving up on saying, by saying, I can't ever find a Catholic girlfriend, so I'm gonna have to settle here. Like, is that a proper compromise that I should be making? It honestly could be. So hard to tell. So one of the things that you can do, okay, I don't even know what I'm trying to do. I'm kind of trying to give advice at this point. And so what I'd say is if you're trying to make friends, but also female, this is just applicable in general to making friends. You should be really just open to making friends anywhere. So, especially in the university setting, it's so easy. In class, you just sit beside someone and then you find something to talk about, and then boom, done. You're friends. You at least have an Instagram that you can text because at the end of the conversation, you'll say, "Hey, do you have Instagram?" Always happens. Yeah. Okay. So then, as I was saying though, so in class, in the cafeteria too, man, I was in the cafeteria today and I just sat beside two guys who were talking to each other. And we had an interesting conversation. They didn't talk too much. Now, I was pretty new. Like I just sat beside them, right? So it was a little awkward, but they were open to talking. So I tried to get them to talk. I mentioned like, hey, are you doing any sports, any intramurals? Oh, thinking of doing water polo. Okay, cool. How's your classes? Like, just, just trying to get something to start. And then I talk a little bit about myself because when people aren't talking about, when people are less social, more introverted, I guess you could say, not willing to share as much, I find it's good to fill the silence with trying to talk about yourself, trying to be more open. You yourself are trying to be more open because you don't want to do an only interview style question set where you're just asking them question after question. And I felt like I was starting to get into that. So that's why I started talking about myself. But yes, whole point of that, you can just go up to people, sit beside them in the calf, sit beside them outside, ask to join frisbee. I did that today too. Ask to, like see a bunch of people tossing around a frisbee and you just join in. Man, okay, there's a couple of other things that I wanted to say. Okay, yeah, I'll quickly say them. I was just looking at the time as 24 minutes. So, okay, I do have some female friends. But I'm not necessarily interested in them. What's really tough is I don't I don't know what to do with that. Like should I be open to being in a relationship with them? Should I be open to dating them even though I'm not interested in them as of yet, currently, and I don't see myself being interested in them in the future either. I will try to keep an open mind. It's just, man, It's just tough. I think the other thing too is like, okay, the reason I'm not interested in them, I think, is because I don't find them attractive. Like that's, and I try not to focus on that, but surely there has to be some physical attraction. But as like I try my best to look past that. But if I don't see it at all, it's like they they'd just be really cool friends, right? And I feel the other thing too is friend zoning. I feel so bad friend zoning. And the thing is too, what if I change my mind in the future? Which is likely because of I think there was this stat that I heard where it was something like after 9 months of hanging out with a girl, looks will not matter in terms of relationship, in terms of relationship compatibility. So it's very likely that I change my mind in the future. And so what would hurt is if I friend zone these girls and then like okay, the thing is too is like it's two girls that I think are interested in me, but it's like I don't know yet. I guess that's what a date is for, right? It's man, it's tough. I tell you. Okay. As I was saying though, friend zoning. You just friend zone. What was I saying? Yeah. Like if you friend zone and then you actually become interested in her, it's like, oh, that's a blunder. Man, shouldn't have said friend zone in the first place. But honestly, it might be acceptable. It might be acceptable to say like, hey, I just want to be friends for now. And then later on, um, if you do develop feelings, then just say that. Say like, hey, I kind of like you, actually. I know I said I wanted to just be friends, but I see you more. I, I kind of like you now. And would you want to go on a date? Something like that. Maybe that's valid. Maybe I should take my own advice. I think friend zone is very committal though, because once you say it, I don't think you can really. It's very hard to come back from that, and especially since once you say that, at least if I was friend zoned, I would not want to hang out with that girl anymore because it's just like a, a lesser friend. As I was saying, I'd always rather hang out with my guy friends than my female friends. So it's just a lesser friend that I'm less compatible with. I don't know how else to put it. And so you'd lose that connection. Or let's say like you'd say I just want to be friends. You friend zone this person early on, so like I don't know, a month in when you guys are just hanging out together. And then she no longer hangs out with you because she's not interested in being friends. And then at 9 months, if you did continue hanging out, if you hadn't had that situation, if she had continued hanging out with you, if you hadn't brought up that friend zoning thing, then you would actually be together. I also think so. The thing that's conflicting with that is it's unfair to the other person if you never mention it, especially for, I think, for guys to girls, because guys are usually the initiator. Guys have to be more blunt about things. So I understand if a girl never says like, "Hey, you want to go on a date?" That makes sense because that's not common. That's not something a girl should wants to say. No, okay, yeah. It should be the guy who says it, in my opinion. And so, by that token, if the guy picks up that the girl is interested, but the guy's not interested, the guy just wants to be friends, then I've I think the guy has to be the one who says, I want this relationship to be just friends. I think it's the guy's responsibility. But again, like, it's conflicting. I don't think there's a solid answer I can give. There's no advice that I can give for myself. I think I'll just figure it out though. I'll figure it out at some point. I'll let you know. I'll let you know how it goes. And I know from I know once I learn from this, uh yeah, I'm sure by in a year I'll have the solution to it. The solution to the problem set. I'll give the answers. Yeah. Okay, what I want to end on